Hey, and welcome into the Big Ten Huddle. I'm JR, and in this episode, I'm going to be solo previewing the Big Ten special team units for you. We'll be taking a look at my rankings of the special team coordinators in the Big Ten, and then we're going to talk about standout kickers, punters, returners, and long snappers, all while addressing your comments and questions in the chat. We do every episode live on YouTube at 9 p.m. on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays to give you a chance to join us live, participate in the discussion, and also give you bonus content over there on YouTube as well. So if you're looking for some bonus content, looking for some more Big Ten content, go over there, check it out. I appreciate you listening to the Big Ten Huddle, where we give you the Big Ten-centric content, entertainment analysis for every single Big Ten team that challenges the SEC bias and doesn't fall for the lame narratives in college football, postures by the media and other people out there, because this is honest and fair analysis. On YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a comment, let us know what you're thinking about the special teams coordinators, what you're thinking, who your favorite kicker is, right? If you're really in depth in the Big Ten, if you can do that. And you can also catch our daily podcast Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Give us a 5-star review. It really does help the show. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram too for updates on the show and creative graphics, keeping you up to date on everything, all the opinions that are happening in the Big Ten. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the episode. All right, special teams preview. We did our coordinator rankings previously, and we had somebody reach out and say, "Hey, I want to see you guys' special teams coordinator rankings as well." I will be honest, this was much more difficult than the offensive coordinators, the defensive coordinators, because some of these guys don't even have the special teams coordinator role. Some of these guys either share the role of doing special teams, and so I just kind of had to go with whichever one it looked like or whichever one podcast I'd talk about more, in terms of special teams. And then also some of these guys had only been around for a year or two, and they've been at other programs and stuff like that. So it was harder to get some information on them, but I wanted to make sure and give you all the resources here. So we are going to talk about this top 18 rankings here. If you have any comments, this is going to be your time to shine here, chat. Going to help me out with some of the discourse here. Normally I have a co-host who kind of runs with it with me, but I'll be honest, not a lot of people want to rank special teams coordinators in the Big Ten. I don't know why. So if you all have any thoughts where a coordinator's at, or if you have any questions about why I put somebody anywhere, please let me know, and I'll address it in the comments. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and go through my thoughts with where I had each coordinator and stuff, and we'll go from there. So Rob Keys will start last. Rob Keys, Ohio State. He's never been a special teams coordinator before. In fact, he's just a quality control guy. So I got him last. This is you guys know how I do rankings. These are entering into the Big Ten. These are not so much guys that I project them here. We'll talk about projections and where some guys are in the future and stuff a little bit later on, but these are pretty much where I have most guys based off of the recency and kind of longevity of their career as well a little bit. So have Rob Keys, Ohio State, special teams coordinator, quality control guy, down at the bottom just because he's never done it before. Chris Petrilli, he actually had a pretty good year, I believe, with Purdue last year. Purdue did a good job, and they had a really good punter last year, and so that's actually a pretty good situation. However, before that, he was not great, and I think you could say some of that is just because Purdue is who Purdue is. So Joe Lorig, he's kind of similar situation. He didn't have great efficiency numbers, actually pretty bad efficiency numbers in 2023. Things were better in 2024, and if you look at opponent adjusted stuff, things were better there as well. However, Oregon, they had some returns, and they did good getting return touchdowns. They weren't gonna win that Boise State game without the punt return touchdown that they got, but they also did struggle in some other areas with I believe it was field goals that I looked up, or maybe it was punting, one of those two. So that's why he's down there a little bit as well. Most of these larger schools like Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, they don't really have great special teams numbers, it's not because they are bad at special teams. It's just because a lot of them don't rely on special teams as much. A lot of them have so much talent on offense and defense that they just kind of like pass on special teams sometimes. So when you're fair catching the ball all the time, or when you're, going for it on fourth down instead of going to your kicker, you don't typically have as good of numbers as other teams. So that was one of the hardest things about this. Do I actually think that the special teams coordinator for Ohio State, do I actually think Ryan Day hired the worst possible option? No, but based off what he's done in his career, that's just kind of where we're at, right? Justin Lustig from Penn State is 15th. He actually had a pretty good 2023, had some high efficiency numbers there, but last year he was outside the top 100 in ESPN efficiency for special teams. Not a great season for him. Northwestern, Paul Creighton, he had his first year as a special teams coordinator this last season. Did an okay job. Actually, his opponent adjusted efficiency was much, much better than his regular efficiency was, but it was still not a fantastic year for Northwestern and special teams last year based on the numbers. UCLA, Cody Whitfield, he's another one of the coaches that just kind of came in firsthand. Ryan Daugherty for USC. USC actually had a pretty good year of special teams under Daugherty last year, so I thought he was going to be higher, but he did have some issues with efficiency numbers and stuff like that. So I believe he had the Ray Guy winner. If it wasn't last year, it was a year before that or something. So he has had some good players, but he's just not been in it as long as some other guys. Grant Kane from Indiana. They had a struggling year last year. They allowed the punt return touchdown to Ohio State. A lot of people will look back and remember. So not a great year last year, but his 2023 numbers, his time at James Madison was very good there. A lot of good numbers. Opponent adjusted numbers were pretty good as well. Not as good as his regular numbers, because obviously when you're at James Madison, you get opponent adjusted. They're going to get worse, but that's just kind of how it goes. Bob Ligonczewski of Minnesota, he was probably the most difficult one to rank, because Bob actually has some of the worst numbers out of all of these special teams coordinators. But the interesting thing with him is that Minnesota brought him in to really help the special teams for Minnesota. Not that it was necessarily in a bad place, but he was previously with, I believe, no, it wasn't with Tennessee. That's the Nebraska guy. East Carolina. He was previously with East Carolina, I believe, before he got to Minnesota. I'm going to need to double check that one here in just a second. But he was previously with another school before getting to Minnesota, and things were going well for him, but his first year of Minnesota just didn't go well. So not great numbers for Bob, but I know there's a lot of optimism there for Minnesota fans. To me, this is kind of a put up or shut up year for Minnesota. Minnesota does not want to be that low in special teams. And then also there was kicking struggles last year for Minnesota as well. Dragan Kesich, he was, I think, first or second team All Big Ten in 2023. He comes back in 2024, struggles, misses the kick against North Carolina, just did not play like his normal self in 2024, and that really did hurt Bob's numbers there. Andre Powell for Maryland, long time special teams coordinator. Believe he was at Pitt, and then maybe he was the one at East Carolina. And then he came to Maryland. He believe he was at Maryland before, and he spent a long time at Pitt as their special teams coordinator. So Andre Powell wanted to put him higher, but he just didn't have the numbers to put him higher. He did have a good year last year, but his opponent adjusted because he was at, I believe, East Carolina. His numbers did get higher because of opponent adjusted. Did not have a great 2023 though. Was outside the top 110 in 2023 for Bob there, or not Bob, Andre Powell there. So not great for him. Michigan State, Keith, I'm gonna screw up the name. I apologize. Badhan Nafa. I apologize. You can see it there on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. He actually did a really good job at Oregon State when they were there. Very good job in 2023. Comes to Michigan State, and things were not as bad as maybe some people would think. Michigan State's issues last year, I mean, they had some issues on special teams, don't get me wrong, but their opponent adjusted numbers were much, much better for them, and Keith did a good job at Oregon State. So, again, this is kind of the thing with Michigan State, right? Like a lot of people believe in this coaching staff and they can do a good job. They just didn't have a great showing last year. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they're gonna put some things together. We'll see. But at the end of the day, Keith down there at eighth. Robbie Disher from Illinois at seventh. Struggled in 2023. Not a great year in 2023. Bounced back though in 2024 and had a top 10 special teams unit in the country. So you would say, well, JR, why is he only seventh? It's because there's a lot of really good special teams units in the Big Ten. So that impacts things. But he did a good job for Illinois last year. When you look at opponent adjusted stuff, it was really one of the kind of it was kind of unsung hero reasons for why Illinois was able to do some of the things they were able to do last year. Had some good kicking, had some good kick returns and punt coverage and stuff like that helped him out. And so Robbie Disher definitely deserves some credit there. Mike Eckler coming over from Tennessee to Nebraska. Nebraska very well known for their struggles on the special team side last year. Mike comes in. He is somebody that should be able to fix a lot of this stuff. Tennessee last year, or was it last year he was with Tennessee? But whoever he was with last year, I should have wrote down what team they were with. They were a top 10 unit in college football opponent adjusted. I believe it was with Tennessee he was with last year. And that is huge for Nebraska because Nebraska had a lot of issues last year. John Hole did a good job coming in and being able to hit some field goals. Like that Ohio State game, he came in and hit 3 field goals and actually kept them in the game against Ohio State, which was huge. Great for them. However, he just didn't do it consistently enough. And that's kind of why that's kind of why Nebraska had some of their bad special teams last year. A number of other factors as well, but kicking was definitely one of the big ones. Some putting issues as well. Michigan's JB Brown. Listen, I could have put JB Brown higher. I'm not trying to be a hater here, Michigan fans, but at the same time, a lot of these numbers were really elevated from Dominic Zavada. We're going to reference him here in a little bit when we do our special teams, kind of preview some of the best special teams players coming back this next season. But I was kind of giving some more credit to Dominic Zavada than I was JB Brown. I mean, I still have top 5 in the Big Ten. The Big Ten probably has the best special teams coordinators in all of college football, in my estimation. So it's not like it's bad. It's just, like he was top 3 last year in both efficiency and opponent adjusted efficiency in special teams. So really good season last year. It's just I give a whole lot more of that credit to Dominic Zavada and what they were able to do than I do to JB Brown. Now maybe that's wrong. Maybe he'll prove me wrong this next year. They did definitely improve their special teams returns in some cases over what it was in 2023. In some cases, not the entire year, maybe. But if you remember watching Michigan versus Alabama, they had some special teams miscues. Almost lost the game against Alabama in that. I think it was the Rose Bowl in 2023 because of a drop punt there at the end of the game. But the player was able to hop on it there, and the rest is history. Michigan wins the national championship. Number 4, Matt Mitchell, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, another one of those Big Ten West teams with just really good special teams units year in and year out, doing a good job. He had really good efficiency last year. The opponent adjusted efficiency wasn't quite so great, but he was a top 10 efficiency unit in 2023. So top 10 efficiency unit in 2023, followed by a top 15 efficiency unit in 2024. That's consistency there, and I think Matt Mitchell deserves respect, and he's also one of the highest paid special teams coordinators in the Big Ten overall. James Shibest, he comes over from UNLV with Barry Odom, and UNLV had some very good special teams there, top 5 in opponent adjusted efficiency in 2023, and they're top 20 in opponent adjusted efficiency in 2024. Some really good stuff from UNLV last year in terms of the special teams, so Shibest really deserves his flowers and his credit there. Rutgers fans, we don't hate you. In fact, I give you your flowers when you deserve your flowers. Eddie Allen, he is one of the quality control people that works for the Rutgers special teams. Now, for all I know, Rutgers fan is going to come in here and say, wow, we actually give more credit to this guy. Okay, whatever special teams coordinator you would give credit to for Rutgers, Eddie Allen is your dude on this list, but whoever it might be, Rutgers has very good special teams. It's something that Greg Schiano emphasizes. It's something that he makes sure is a priority, and you can see that by who they hire, who they put in charge of it, and then just overall how much they value it. So great job by Rutgers this past year. In past 2 years, top five and opponent adjusted in 2023, top 15 or top 20 and opponent adjusted in 2024 as well, efficiency. And then obviously the GOAT of special teams, LeVar Woods. I mean, they're going to get Caden Whitgen back this next year. They got Rise, what's his last name? Dawkins or something like that. I should know the punter's last name for Iowa. He's like a star there. Rice Dawkins there for Iowa. They got him coming back as well. I mean, LeVar Woods just continually puts out exceptional special teams units year in, year out. You could argue they had the best special teams unit in the country last season, and in 2023, I mean, it dropped, but they were top 20. That should tell you how. Oh, it was a down year for Iowa special teams, but they were top 20 in the country. So if you look at last year and say, oh, that's down when you're top 20, all right, that's pretty good for you. So, but definitely bounced back last year, having probably the best, if not the, for sure the best special teams unit in the Big Ten last year. All right, let me see if you guys got any thoughts on these coordinators. I'm not suspecting you guys have a bunch of hard and fast thoughts overall, but Pitt Snipe says Nebraska gets a special teams touchdown against PSU. Call it Penn State, calling it. Yeah, hey, that would really help you guys out. And I tell you, if Nebraska can fix their special teams, if Eckler can really fix that and hold on to that, that's going to be huge for them next year to really help in a lot of different ways. Larry says, I'll take Maryland at 9. The highest anyone has Maryland might be in any of these rankings. I love it. I did have Rod Smith. Is that your defensive coordinator there at Maryland? Or no, that's Rutgers. Who's the defensive coordinator at Maryland? Monachino. It wasn't Monachino. It was Pep Hamilton. Pep Hamilton I had close to 10, I want to say, like 12, 13. But yeah, Andre Powell. I mean, Andre Powell didn't have great numbers the past 2 years. I mean, last year he had good numbers. He was top 20 in efficiency overall. You look at opponent adjusted, and that kind of rose from there. But just regular efficiency, Andre Powell was good last year, but it was really 2 years ago in 2023 when he was outside the top 100. But he's been doing it for so long. This is a guy that I trust with special teams, and I think he deserves to be in the top half. So I don't really know how high to put him because some of these guys, they kind of lose their luster. But with Andre Powell, he's been doing it for so long. He deserves the respect, and he deserves to have some good stuff put on his name. All right. Any other thoughts here? I really appreciate you guys helping me out here with some of the oh, there we go. Larry says Maryland might have a top 5 punter. Yes, let me. Oh, logged out of my thing. Hold on. Let me look up the Maryland punter. I just had it written down, and then it closed. Yeah, Maryland's punter. Is it Bryce McPherson? Is that the one you're talking about there, Larry? Yeah, their punter there could be a very good one. Yep, that's who it is, Bryce McPherson. Yeah, for sure. And then you got Jack Howes, the redshirt senior there at kicker for them. So good veteran unit on special teams for Maryland next year. Now your kick returner, your punt returner are both sophomores, so maybe not so much in that case, but yeah. All right, let's talk about some of the Big Ten players coming back that are good prospects. Now, I'm not going to go through the kickers of every single Big Ten team. All right, just not going to do it. But I will go through some of the key kickers for next year. And shocker, Iowa has a lot of these guys. Not just a kicker; they have a lot of the guys overall. So we'll talk about him. Drew Stevens, Iowa, third team All Big Ten last year, had a very good year. I think he. Let me look up his stats really fast. I think he had a pretty long field goal, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Iowa, this is what you've come to know, right? Iowa knows what they're doing with special teams any day of the week. They're able to put their guys out there and have them perform. Yeah, Drew Stevens has been the kicker at Iowa the past 3 seasons. 20 for 23 last year. He was 5 for 5 on field goals attempts between 40 to 49 yards, and he was 4 for 7 on 50-plus yard attempts. Had a long of 54 last year. That's insane. It's really, really good. Iowa once again having another amazing kicker coming back. This is what we come to know with Iowa. They excel at special teams, and I don't think anybody can deny it at this point. Dominic Zavada, Michigan. I'm going to read you guys his stats as well. He was fantastic this last year. Like I said, kind of I don't want to say downgraded JB Brown, but I didn't think as much about some JB Brown's accomplishments with his numbers for Michigan last year just because of how crazy good Zavada was. On attempts of 30 or more yards, he was 17 of 17. Of attempts 40 or more yards, he was 10 for 10. Of attempts 50 or more yards, Dominic Zavada 7 of 7. That is insane. Dominic Zavada doing amazing work for Michigan. 56-yard long. That ties his long from. Larry says no more Jack House. Okay, I must have pulled up the wrong depth chart. Thank you for keeping me honest. So no more Jack House from Maryland. He was 11 of 16 last year. Big liability. New transfer from Richmond, 12 of 12 last year, including highs of 50 and 40 yarders. Should be a nice improvement. There we go. Yeah, kick Jack House to the curb. All right. You can't go 11 for 16 and be there for Maryland. Love that Mike Loxley did that. All right. Thank you for keeping me honest there, Larry. I appreciate it. Back to the Zavada. All right. Zavada, he only missed one field goal last year, and it was an attempt of, 20 to 29 yards. I believe I remember that because I was watching the game and I was like, holy crap, he never misses. Overall, last year, Dominic Zavada was 21 of 22 on field goal attempts of 30 or more yards. He was 17 of 17, just absolutely fantastic. He actually did miss an extra point as well. I don't remember when that happened, but that's insane that he had just as many extra point misses as he had field goal misses on the year, and it's only one each on that. So Dominic Zavada looking to probably be the best kicker in the country next year. Drew Stevens will obviously have the opportunity to challenge him for that, but yeah. Some underrated guys to look at. Okay, underrated guys to look at. Ethan Moczulski at Washington. Now he was at he was at Illinois last year, and he only kicked 2 field goals, but he hit a 59-yarder last year. He only, like I said, only attempted 2 field goals, but he hit a 59-yarder. So Grady Gross is the expected starter at Washington from everything I was reading and seeing. So he's probably going to be the dude there. But if Washington finds themselves in a situation where they need to hit a long field goal, they have Ethan Moczulski there to possibly hit that long field goal for him. So a nice weapon to have. And then Mateen Baghani at UCLA. Apologize if I got that wrong. Some of these kickers got weird names. I apologize. Not weird names, just names I have trouble pronouncing. 20 of 24 last year, hit a 57-yarder long, 57-yard long kick for them. That's going to be a kicker you're going to be on the lookout for to possibly hit some long kicks. All right, let's talk about punters. I got 3 punters to watch in the Big Ten. Shocker, one of them's at Iowa. All right, Rice Dawkins. I actually saw him on a top 100 players list in college football. I believe it was by the College Sports Network, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to find that out for sure. But he, 3rd team All Big Ten last year. Felt like he probably should have been better. But Rice Dawkins, just a very, very good punter, comes in and fills in for Tory Taylor after Tory Taylor graduates. And I'm not going to say there hasn't any drop off because Tory Taylor is Tory Taylor, right? We all know the legend of Tory Taylor and how fantastic he is as a punter for Iowa. But Rice Dawkins does come in and performs well for them. Could be looking at a 1st team or 2nd team All Big Ten type of season, but he's going to be challenged by Ryan Eckley at Michigan State, who was 2nd team All Big Ten last year. So bringing back 2 All Big Ten punters from last year. That's huge. I believe the 1st team All Big Ten was the USC punter last year. I could be wrong on that. I apologize if I am, but fact check me on that one. But Ryan Eckley, Rice Dawkins, big punters coming back. But you need to be on the lookout for Keelan Crimmins at Illinois. Would you believe that they got themselves a really good punter out of the portal, right? Okay. The 24-year-old played in all 12 games at Purdue last season and booted 64 balls. He was honorable mention all Big Ten. Again, there's a lot of good punters in the Big Ten, so just because you're honorable mention doesn't mean you weren't worth anything. Crimmins averaged 45 yards per punt, which ranked 13th nationally. He was also second best in a single season in Boilermaker history. He landed 17 of his punts inside the 20-yard line. Didn't help him a whole lot on defense in some cases, but it was really, really good for him. And he had 14 of his punts went 50 yards or more. So a huge weapon there coming over from Purdue. Don't say that sentence very often, but Keelan Crimmins, huge weapon coming over from Purdue to Illinois, going to help them out in a number of ways. If you know anything about Brett Bielema, he is somebody that loves to win in these areas that not everybody is always on the lookout for. So big stuff there. Returners, some returners to be on the lookout for next year. Number one, Caden Wetjen, Iowa. First team All Big Ten last year. Iowa continues their ways. Again, like I said, guys, I got an Iowa player for all of these things because that's just what Iowa puts out there year in and year out. Caden Wetjen, Iowa, first team All Big Ten last year. Fantastic returner. Very good special teams player. Could add to the wide receiver room at Iowa this next year. We'll see. We'll see what kind of guys they put out there. I'm struggling with knowing exactly who is going to start at wide receiver for Iowa next year. It seems like a lot of different guys have opinions. We know Reese Vanderzee will be there, but some of the supporting guys there, we'll see. And it sounds like they're high on a lot of them, so we'll see what happens. Other guy could be playing three ways this season if he is returning punts and kicks as well. Coy Parrish could be playing offense, most certainly be playing defense, safety for Minnesota next year. And if he is catching punts and stuff like that as well, I don't know how people don't give this guy Travis Hunter love if he's doing that. If people love the snaps that Travis Hunter was getting on offense and defense, if Coy Parrish is out there collecting punts and kickoffs and everything else too, returning those things, give Coy Parrish his what he deserves in terms of recognition next year. Now, obviously, he has to go out there and do it well, but I have very little concern that he won't go out there and perform very well as a returner and as a safety. Now, wide receiver, we'll see. Got to see him out there do that first, but at least in the returner and the safety area. I think that's an interesting question, though. Would you rather see, if he could only play two sides of the ball, Coy Parrish, Minnesota fans, answer this for me in the comments. Would you rather see Coy Parrish play receiver from time to time, not the entire time, or would you rather see him return all the punts? I might just say all the punts because you saw what kind of weapon Cooper DeJean was a couple years ago for Iowa when he was doing that kind of stuff. If I'm PJ Fleck, I don't want to take away from what Coy Parrish can bring my team on the punt returns as well. So I don't know. That's just me. Cool. PJ, you do your own thing, but that's just me. My third returner I have there is Makai Lemon, USC, third team All Big Ten last year. They lose Zachariah Branch. No worries, they got Makai Lemon. Makai Lemon is going to be huge for them this next year as well. USC with kind of some, like I talked about in the rankings, some sneaky good special teams for USC last year. Excellent job by Daughtery there. It could be another year of good special teams with him back once again. Long snappers, all right? Guys, I'm going to be honest. I just got the guys that are coming back that were all Big Ten in terms of long snappers. Sorry, not a lot of good stats out there. Oregon has an All Big Ten player from last year coming back. USC has an All Big Ten player from last year coming back, and Penn State does. So Luke Basso from Oregon, Hank Pepper from USC, and then Tyler Duzansky from Penn State. All Big Ten long snappers who are coming back. All right. That's what I got for you guys for special teams. I hope you guys appreciated that. We had somebody ask for some special team coordinator rankings. So one last time, Rob Keyes from Ohio State. Oh, let me do this. I forgot to talk about projected. All right. Special teams coordinators that I project could be much higher next year if things go well for them. Rob Keyes, Ohio State. Kind of same thing with some of the other guys. He's just never done it before. We never really have data on him before. Sounds like he's going to be overseeing a lot of this stuff. Like he's going to have position coaches and stuff like that with some other position coaches in as well. But Rob Keyes is probably going to be the one that gets the credit if the special teams does well next season. So we'll see how that works out. But Rob Keyes, Ohio State, definitely somebody who could move up. Andre Powell, I think, is somebody that could move up as well. I'm not just saying that because Larry's here. I mean it. I think Andre Powell could be somebody that moves up. He is a long standing there. I think Mike Locksley is a smart head coach, right? He knows that he's going to have to do well in special teams in order to maybe steal some wins here and there. If they want to get to that 6-win mark, they're going to have good special teams. And look, Larry just said it. They address the kicker in special teams as well. So Mike Locksley obviously wants to make sure they do a good job with that. They have a good punter coming back. Could see some sneaky good special teams from Maryland next year. Definitely Andre Powell and their special teams unit is somebody I'm going to be on the lookout for. And then second highest paid, the second highest paid special teams coordinator in the Big Ten, Matt Rule, said, we don't want to have bad special teams again. Let's go out and get some good special teams. Mike Eckler got him only 6th right now. Again, he spent some time at Tennessee. He had some okay efficiency numbers. His opponent adjusted efficiency numbers were much better than what the regular efficiency numbers were. So, but that's ESPN for you. They they like to give credit to the SEC. So whatever, to each their own. But Mike Eckler, definitely somebody can give a lot of credit and a lot of props to if he gets this Nebraska special teams unit right. I'm not saying they need to be best in the Big Ten or anything like that. They don't need to be Iowa level. But if you can get some Big Ten honorable mentions at returner, at kicker, at punter, that can be a really big thing for Nebraska this next season. All right, guys. That is my solo Big Ten special teams coordinators preview, stuff like that. So hope that was enough for you. We didn't really talk about every single Big Ten. I guess I did with the coordinator. So yeah, we stayed true to it. Talked about every single Big Ten team. Appreciate you being here, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the segment with Larry. Special thanks to him coming on in the first segment. If you're on podcast, you can hear that on Wednesday morning. If you are on podcast, you're hearing this probably on Thursday. Really appreciate everybody coming in, listening. Kind of a sleepy Tuesday night here going live, but we appreciate it. If you are somebody that listens on podcasts, please do feel free to come listen to the live show. Participate in the chat. We love to get the chat's responses and everything you guys are thinking as well. And it's kind of where our community kind of comes together a little bit. We don't have Discord. We don't have all this other stuff, but we do have a really good community here at the Big Ten Huddle, and we appreciate all of you who listen, all of you who talk in the chat, and even if you don't talk in the chat, we appreciate you listening as well. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Big Ten Huddle. Big Jeff Insights coming Thursday night. That'll be a premiere episode, though. Me and Jeff won't be live, so check that out when it premieres, and we appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Have a good one.